Hey guys, this is Pretty in Stitches, and today I'm going to show you how to attach a collar. This is great for Jabla blouses, kurtas, and this is the method I use. There are a lot of different methods out there. I think this is the best for beginners and it fits really well around the neck. Let me know what you think of this technique. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with the neckline, and we want to measure all the way around. So if you're wondering what this stitching is, it's called stay stitching, and if you want to know more about that, let me know in the comments and I will do a video on that. So I'm just measuring all the way around. And that's roughly 14.25. So I'm just going to round that up to 14.5. So we want the collar to be a minimum of 14.5. So we're going to start with 7.25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a draft of it first, and I'm going to use that to cut out the collar on the fabric. So our finished collar will be around 1 inch wide. So that's roughly the finished width and half the length. So I'm going to measure 2 inches from the end. And then we're going to measure half an inch up and half an inch from this line. Now I want to join these two together. But we want it to be in a nice curve. So I'm just going to just drawn that in. So just want it to be nice and smooth. So now we're going to add the seam allowance around the outside. So I'm using half an inch. So I'm just going to go over that with a marker so you can see exactly what we've drawn. Now this is going to be the top of your collar. So we want to make a nice rounded shape. Up to you what kind of shape you want. So that's the finished shape. So this is the actual finished collar, and this is our seam allowance around the outside. So I'm just going to cut that out. So I've cut that out, and I've cut out the middle as well. So I'm going to cut this on the fabric, and I'm using the bias, which is the diagonal of the fabric. A little bit of stretch on the bias, and that helps to go around the neckline smoothly. So I'm going to cut out 2 of these on the fold. So I've cut those out. Now using the inside, I'm going to mark the seam allowance all the way around both sides and on both of them. And also using this as a template, I'm going to cut some interfacing. This is lightweight interfacing. It's up to you what kind of interfacing you want to use. This is a fusible one. If you're not sure about interfacing or wadding, I do have a video if you want to have a look at that. So I'm going to cut one of them and then iron it onto the wrong side of one piece. So I've marked the seam allowance on both of these, and you can skip that step if you're quite confident with your seam allowances. So now we want to take one piece. So what we'll do is we'll half this, and we'll just make a mark here. So we're just going to notch that. So that's halfway, and we'll just find the half of this. So put the seams together, and we want to find half of the back. So for now we're just testing the length of this, so I just want to pin that together. So if we have a look at the end here, you can see that it finishes right on the edge here. So that's pretty good measurement. So just check the other side. So you can see that on this side, it's just slightly off. So we may need to reduce the seam allowance on the end there. So I'm just going to mark that. So you can feel where it ends. So now I'm just going to adjust the curve to match that line. So we're going to be sewing that 1/2 inch seam allowance and then going round in a curve. And then you want to sew all the way across there. Coming back down, we're going to match up the line that we measured. And down. And then I want to fold the seam up on both sides. And on the side. And I'm just going to pin across the top. Okay, so we're going to start sewing from here all the way across the top and then down, making sure that both sides of your seam is facing inward. So I've just sewn along there, and now you want to fold up the seam, the bottom. You can iron this if that helps. So you want that to stay in place, and I'm going to do that on both sides. And then I'm going to just trim across the top to reduce the bulk and get a nice round finish. So now you want to turn it inside out and adjust if you need to. And you want to use the side with the interfacing on the outside if possible. So you want to take one side of the button placket. I'm going to place it in front of the two seams. I'm going to go around and sandwich the neckline between the back and the front piece. So when you're pinning, just make sure that you are catching the back as well. And if it's too much, you can reduce it. So I've just finished pinning that. Now you can see what it looks like once we've sewn it on. So I'm going to stitch down here, and then I'm going to go over the top and do a top stitch. So just a decorative stitch going around the top, and that will secure it down. So I've just sewn that. And you want to make sure that you catch the inside as well. And if you use a matching thread, then it will blend in nicely. And there you have it. And that's the finished collar. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you found it useful, please like the video and subscribe for more techniques and sewing projects. Let me know what else you would like to see. If you'd like to learn how to draft, cut and sew a Jabla, let me know in the comments. See you soon.